Welcome back to Demasi's Log Cabin. I know a couple times now I've said it would be my last cabin video. Fly. All right. I do want to go back one more time. I've been looking at YouTube, some of the competition. A lot of people do cost breakdown of their cabin, and I thought that would be nice for my viewers to see. Also, I wanted to calculate it up for myself because I never really did get a final total. So that's what this video is going to be, and these are best estimates of what they cost. Could be taxes added on some of them that I didn't calculate, and also certainly things that I forgot that I purchased. So at the end I added a little miscellaneous. All right, so here we go. A rundown. First up, we'll do the screws I use for my foundation. Overall, those cost $600. Pretty big expense, but the way I figured when I was starting the cabin, it would have been way easier than to try to dig footings at that time. I did do 5 extra footings in concrete after the screws because we had that warm winter. And I totaled up and calculated approximately $100 in concrete and supplies for the footings. Next, we did the porch boards. We did the 2x10 by 14 foot lengths. I thought that wider look would look better on the porch. And those porch boards cost $170. I don't think I included tax. Next notable expense is the $145 I spent on floor joists. I spent $25 approximately on hangers. $350 on flooring insulation. I did the poly foam board. I went back and forth between spending a little less on fiberglass and then decided to go with the foam board, and I'm glad I didn't cheap out on that. $200 on the 3/4 inch tongue and groove subfloor. Spikes and screws. 10 inch, I bought 3 boxes of 50-pound spikes, but I also added screws in there too, so totaling cost would be somewhere around $200. My first big expense of the cabin. First was thinking rough cut pine. I went with the V-groove pine ceiling. Cost $1,300. And that decision, I couldn't be happier once that was installed. I mean, look at it. Pretty. Okay, then we did 2x6 rafters. I think I had like 34 of those. Also, there might have been a couple extras in there for other things like the window framing. That cost $350. $150 in plywood sheathing for the roof. Last one. Woo. $630 for the metal sheets. $100 for the metal ridge cap. I think there was 3 pieces adding up to $100. $180 in the eave trim. And then in roofing screws, I think I was around $100, but I can't remember exactly. I might have added another bag. So $100 to $150 on that. And $280 on the fiberglass insulation I threw on in the roof. Moving right along. Okay, here we go. The double hanging windows I got for $100. And then that big window in front, I had like one side was broken, so you just manually open it. I got that for free. But I really think they're efficient windows, and I couldn't have been happier with the window selection at $100. Can't really beat it. Lights, wiring, receptacles, switches. I think I spent around $300 on that total. The big expense would be that one main light that my son picked out, which the chandelier light. I think it really went well with the cabin. Next, flooring. I made like 3 orders from this guy. This was rough cut, but he ran it through his planer, and it was just a local guy that had that ash hardwood flooring. I just love the stuff. I actually ordered 3 times from him. I think I spent a little under $1,000. $850 is what I calculated from him. But to do the floor, I made the door with it. And all the framing for the windows, I think that was a pretty good deal. And that stuff was just really cool, perfect for the log cabin. On to the wood stove. This was one of those areas where I thought I maybe could have got something a little better. I spent $450 on the wood stove, and it's just a mini wood stove fabricated from like this wood stove place, but it's not the thickest metal. I ordered it online, so I wasn't positive, and they had great reviews, but I'd probably look for something a little different on the wood stove in my next cabin build, something a little more efficient. Insulated pipe on the outside actually came off my shop, so that was free. So I saved a few $100 on that, easy. With the chimney cap, probably $300-400 actually in savings. And then the indoor single wall stovepipe I did buy, I figured that was about $60. Next big expense was the chinking. Five-gallon pails of the chinking, and I think I explained in my chinking videos, I wanted to go with a synthetic chink just because my logs are a little bit greener, and I knew the price was going to be a little bit higher. So that price for those five-gallon buckets was $1,500 in just chinking. I could have saved probably at least half of that if I went with some sort of mortar mix. I'm thinking of the hill I was on and no vehicles to get up the hill. I would have had to do a ton more effort. And with the log settlement and movement, I think the synthetic chink was the right way to go, but only time will tell. Outside now, $65 on the grass seed and hay bale. To make that lawn nice and green, as you saw, holy smokes, that turned out great. I think it's probably, hopefully they're mowing it now, and I bet it looks awesome right now, that green grass. Oh, I missed that little cabin, but we'll get another one built here soon. All right, next up, cabin porch rail. Spent $300. Voted on YouTube. Thank you all for those who voted. It was like 52-48 on the vote, and then I'm like, that's so close. Let me see what my wife wanted, the cabin rail, and that was 100% the right decision. So thanks to those that voted in that poll. Sorry I didn't take your advice, but I weighed it. If it would have been, more lopsided, I would have went with the full tenon rail system, but this was just perfect for our cabin, the size of the porch and the view we had. So thanks to everybody that votes in those polls. I really do appreciate it. And I hope to add more polls in the future, get more interaction from the viewer. Uh-oh, I don't think I can get under anymore. And then here in the video, $20 on the mortar for the flooring. The tiles came from a house project I had left over, so I don't count that in the expenses. And then the rock obviously gathered from the property. Last minute decided to do it. I was gonna maybe not do the solar and just have it wired for someone else to do it once we sold the cabin. But I decided to go with it. I wanted to try to install it myself and see how effective solar would be up there. And I was really pleasantly surprised. So here we are, spent $180 on the solar panel, 200-watt panel. I spent $190 on the inverter, spent $150 on the solar charge controller, and $189 a piece on each of those 100 amp hour batteries. Those are big suckers, but I think that gives you a lot of flexibility, and it'll run everything that cabin needs for a few days. And then I'm just gonna do miscellaneous specialty tools, $300 to $500, and then fasteners, nails, and screws. I'm calculated about $250. That total, believe it or not, $10,000 is what I budgeted. I'm not kidding here, I'm not lying. And then this build turned out to be $10,174. Now I could be missing some things. $174 off on that project for being one of my first builds. I really, not pat myself on the back. I really can't believe it. Maybe I think I really got lucky. I don't think I could do that again with the size of the project and all the variables. But being $174 off, I'm pretty proud of myself. I might have missed an expense, so if there's something not on this list and you've been following me, definitely put it in the comments. What did I miss? So I'm gonna actually add $1,000 on miscellaneous. That'll account for any taxes and fees I missed, any other tool purchases I can't remember, or equipment for the cabin. So all in all, $11,174 is what I'll say the total is. I'll add that extra $1,000 on. And I got a quote recently just to see how much it would cost. And for a 12x16 cabin, just the logs, they were asking $21,000, and that was a 4-inch by 8-inch D log. So most of my logs were probably about 6 inches around, so a little bit bigger than their logs. And honestly, those cabin-made logs they don't look right to me. Some people prefer them, and the walls on the inside are flat, but the round logs is what I prefer. And I just couldn't believe that price, so that really made me feel good too. Cabin cost me $10,000 to build, and if you want to buy logs, it's going to be $21,000 minimum from a a log manufacturing place. So, alrighty, hope you enjoyed the video. Final costs overall, freaking fly. Jeez, that fly.